Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Have you come across the kind of person that always needs to be right? Are you trying to be right all the time? Even though it stresses out your life and relationships with the people around you, you can't help yourself. You just have to be right, even though it's making your life hell. I understand this. I found the answer. This is the right solution. Lock it in. Yes, it feels good, right, and correct. We think we can now move on in life, secure in the knowledge that we found the answer to something and we lock it away in our mental vault, and no one has the combination to change it, no matter how persuasive their argument is. But here's the problem. What if a genuine upgrade to your opinion and perspective comes along in your life? A slight adjustment to your idea of what you think is right. But your stubborn sense of loyalty to yesterday's locked-in idea of right and correct keeps you from growing or getting better. Do you just keep listening to the younger version of yourself that thought they were right, no matter where you are today? No matter how much wiser and older you are today? Isn't it a little bit embarrassing to continue to listen to the Bible of a much younger, naive version of yourself? What are you afraid of? The truth? Why are you still listening to the 30-year-old version of you as a 50-year-old? I know we feel safe being loyal to yesterday's idea of what right was, that it fit perfectly then. But are you trying to squeeze into your old high school jeans as an old man in believing what you always believed in? I know there's a sense of loyalty. Here's some things I realized about trying to be right all the time and observing people who, no matter how reasonable an argument you gave, they stubbornly, almost religiously, just said no. Because it didn't perfectly align with their script. Are you responding from an internal script that's immovable, not able to be edited, not able to be rewritten to be better? What I've realized is stubbornly always wanting to be right and debate people is being stuck. If I'm constantly stuck to yesterday's idea of the perfect answer, especially if someone's offering me another reasonable perspective in a conversation, I'm just stopping myself from knowing more and getting better and taking another step up the staircase of my life. Curiosity, openness, and a willingness to be wrong are what actually expands your world. It's the truth of what wisdom actually is. It's knowing that there's always more to learn and to be curious about it, to be able to learn. There's more to try, there's more to tinker with, there's more to adjust, while never entirely getting there, but it's fun constantly going forward and reaching. I like to think of it this way. I'm off the hook if I'm humble enough to always be the student, curious, learning, open to saying, you know what? That's a good point. I never looked at it that way. I always thought this, but you know what? That's actually true. If I was in that position, I'd probably think the same or do the same or react the same. And when you get off on being this forever student, childish idealists out there who are stubborn, who always have to be right and debate you, they can try and shame you all they like. You don't really care that much. You actually don't. It doesn't affect you because it's more fun over here, staying curious, being off the hook, not having anything to apologize for, and not having to be perfect. You're never wrong because you never have to be right. Fighting to be right also creates constant stress in your life. Every debate you have to win kicks your nervous system into high alert. Your body can't tell the difference between an argument and an actual threat. Every conversation you have is primed with a fight or flight response. Think about that. Compared to choosing the tranquility of a curious conversation where you don't have to be right, where you're not trying to win. And the added bonus is people like talking to you when you're not always trying to shut them down and be right and hold up the trophy. You don't like being around people where you feel like you're the punching bag all the time. Also, relationships aren't about winning. In love, friendship, and work, being right is never as important as being kind and reasonable. And good connections with people in your life don't come from winning arguments. It comes from making people feel seen, heard, and understood, not by dominating them with being right all the time. If your conversations with people in your life are about the need to constantly hold some gold trophy over your head on a podium at the end of every discussion to feel good about yourself, then it's really about your need to be liked or loved for being a correct person in their eyes, rather than, no matter what, even if I get my ideas wrong or if I have a different opinion, my friends will still remain my friends, my parents will still be my parents, and my lover, my romantic relationship will still love me. Hopefully. But even if they don't love you anymore and shame you and take pleasure in embarrassing you because they want to be right and you're wrong, simply because you're ambivalent about being right now, well then it tells you exactly who your friends are now, who your chicky poo who you thought loved you is or isn't, just by the way they react to you not caring about being right and you also not caring about them dominating you with their idea of being right. Here's another thing to realize. Always needing to be right is exhausting. Letting go of the need to be right feels like putting down a heavy backpack. Trying to be right all the time to control the truth in my mental utopia was making me stressed simply as a normal human being going about life trying to enjoy my day. Why am I constantly fighting to be right all the time? That's what we should be asking ourselves, and also posing it to the person that's trying to dominate you with debating you and being right. That is, if I truly am right, if it's correct, if I am correct, then why doesn't it stay correct? Why doesn't it stay right? Put another way, what's the point of being right if it can't keep consistently being right after? Why are you always fighting to remain right and debate people? The revelation. To me, when I stopped trying to be right all the time, my world was lighter and thus I was freer and I was actually in more control than I was when I wanted to be right all the time. Does that make sense? And when you let go of that and then you actually see others trying to be right over you, it feels extremely liberating. It feels like closure. Because even if you end up being wrong now, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So be right all the time if you want. Keep trying to. Or relax and be happy.